Hey everyone, I'm Brian Parks. I'm the CEO of Synapse Software, and in this video, I want to take you through a deep dive of security groups in Cherwell Service Management. So, security groups are one of the foundational aspects of the customization of your CSM environment. And there are quite a few different knobs and buttons that you can poke and tweak to do exactly what you want to do in Cherwell, to give access to the things you want to give access to and to prevent people from getting access to the things that they shouldn't have access to. And really, the best way to explain it is just to get into it. So let's switch to a demo and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm over in the admin client and I'm going to go over to security and edit security groups. Right off the bat, you'll notice that there are several out-of-the-box security groups. This is out-of-the-box content. This is actually from 10.0, I believe. But this aspect hasn't changed all that much in several Cherwell versions. Most of these are just security groups for various types of users, but there are we'll say three in particular that I want to draw your attention to. And the first one is this admin security group. This security group is special, not necessarily because it's like hard-coded in Cherwell or anything, but because it is intended to be the administrative security group. The idea here is that this security group has access to everything. And we'll see exactly what everything means in just a minute. The next one I want to draw your attention to is anonymous browser. This one is extremely important for portal because if you allow people to browse your portal without first having to log in, and there is a checkbox that basically turns that functionality on or off. In the out-of-the-box content, it's enabled or disabled. I forget which direction the checkbox goes, but it's people can browse the portal anonymously by default in the out-of-the-box content. So most of the time that means they can just see the not logged in dashboard, but if you enable anonymous access for other areas of the portal, I did a video on that recently, so I'll leave a link to that in the description. If you enable anonymous access, people can have access to all of those other aspects of the portal that you give them access to, and you do that through this anonymous browser security group. The third one that I want to draw your attention to is Portal Customer. You can also use Portal Workgroup Manager that kind of is in the same category, but I'm going to focus on Portal Customer. This is the the security group that portal users go into once they log in. So that's important as well. There is a way to set that. Maybe I'll do that in a future video. I'll show how to configure security groups for your portal users and the implications that has. If that's something you're interested in seeing, leave a comment below and let me know that you want to see that in a future video. So in order to dive into exactly how security groups affect your system, I'm going to pull up the anonymous browser. The reason I'm doing this is because it has a very good variety of options that are both enabled and disabled. So that'll give us some good information to talk about. You'll notice there are different tabs here. Each tab controls a different kind of way of thinking about security. So for instance, business objects is your standard read, write, permissions on specific business objects in the system, and even the field level permissions, because Cherwell does have field level security, which is really cool, really powerful. Definitely makes you scratch your head. It's a little bit unwieldy because there are a lot of permissions that go on there, but it does make for a very powerful, very sophisticated security model. Writes control more general things, like actions that you can perform within the various clients that aren't necessarily tied to a specific business object or cut across business objects. File attachments are exactly what it sounds like. And then we'll get into roles and users once we get to those tabs. So let's go to the rights tab. And you can see there are various different categories of rights. So one that you might think of is, dashboards, right? I think this is, can we create a dashboard in a blueprint? Various things like that. One steps, things like, can we execute one steps? Right, these are execute one steps in the blueprint scope. So blueprint dashboards was see dashboards in the blueprint scope. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to see them through the manager, but you might get to them through other mechanisms within the system. Web services. Can you call web services from a client machine? Obviously, this is disabled. You might not be able to see that. This is disabled for the anonymous browser, right? Because it doesn't really make sense. Anonymous browser is only in the portal. So this is kind of a moot point, but also because you probably don't want your customers calling web services directly. That's more of an administrative function or a technician function, right? These are, can we edit these particular web services? So at the global scope, at the role scope, at the team scope, at the user scope, view, add, edit, delete. Fairly straightforward permissions. Prompts. Can we execute prompts? Webhooks. There's a wide variety of rights in this category. And it would take hours to go through what every single one of them actually means. So let's move on to business objects. One of the nice things here is that there is an option for new business objects. So this is it sets kind of a default template for when you create a new business object, what rights does it get from this security group. And then if we go into a specific business object, you also have this new field. So if you add a field to an existing business object, it automatically gets the permissions you set here. And then you can go down to each individual field and give view or edit. Agreement is not particularly exciting with anonymous browser, but one that might be is like incident, right? So obviously incident doesn't have any permissions because in order to actually create an incident or edit your own incidents, you need to be logged in. Now, if we go down to some that are used in the service catalog, like incident subcategory, you can see view is enabled for these, but not add, edit, delete, because we don't want portal users, especially anonymous users, creating new incident subcategories. That doesn't really make sense in our context. One thing that I know I'm not going to find an example of if I go looking for it, but one is, actually that's not true. We might be able to find this. Let me go to portal customer and then go to incident. That's not incident. Incident. And here we have this checkbox down here, different rights based on requester. And by having that checked, we get this whole bottom section. So the record requester can edit their own records. Obviously they can view, so that's automatically checked for us. But we can also set if a member of the requester's department can edit, if the manager of the requester can edit. This gives a whole additional level of customizability to the permissions that are allowed for a particular business object in particular scenarios. So in addition, there are your normal expected ways of setting permissions. So view, add, edit, delete are the kind of the standard. Then there are special permissions for if the business object is in the terminal lifecycle state. So in the case of incident, that's closed. So can you edit an incident that's already been closed? In this case, portal customers cannot. Once an incident is closed, it's done. I think on the technician side, that's not the case. They can edit closed incidents, but customers can't edit closed incidents. Can they change it from terminal state to the I think it's called recall state, which in the case of incident is closed and reopened? In this case, yes, they can. They can say, nope, this incident isn't closed. It needs to be reopened because I'm still having the issue. You can also limit records based on expressions. Again, super powerful. You can customize for encrypted fields. I'm not sure if incident has any encrypted fields, but in this case, if it does, portal customer can't view, can't edit those encrypted fields. And then file attachments. This is above and beyond what we're about to see on this next tab. But this also indicates whether they can view attachments on the incident. It makes sense for a portal customer to be able to view attachments on an incident, to be able to add attachments to their incident, or to delete files from their incident. So that's cool. So let's go back to Anonymous Browser. Go over to File Attachments. File Attachments is pretty simple, straightforward, not a whole lot of customizability here. Can this security group import files in general across the system? Obviously, they still need that permission per business object. So whatever business object they're on, they need to have that permission as well. Can they import files outside of that? Can they link files? Can they link URLs? Okay, in this case, they can do all of the above, and that makes sense. You can also override the system defaults for attachments. These lists are pretty comprehensive and probably work for most people. So you can, but if you check that box, you can either do the whitelist approach, only allow certain files or certain extensions, or do the blacklist approach. Or I guess we're supposed to say allow list and block list. So allow files with a specific extension, or allow files with any extension except for the ones listed here. I don't recommend using this one, allow any files, because that's a security risk. If you're going to override the system defaults for attachments, I definitely recommend limiting imported file sizes. Just as, again, a security precaution, you can probably assume that most people are not going to be uploading files larger than, say, a gigabyte, right? If they're trying to upload a file larger than that, they should probably go a different route. Upload it to OneDrive or Google Drive or an FTP site, something like that. This is probably the wrong way to go about doing that. So then going over to roles, this is actually a way for the security groups and the roles to kind of be tied together. And then users. Obviously, in this case, Cherwell Web Forms is actually an added user to this. This is kind of a custom user for another piece of Cherwell that I think it may not be deprecated, but it's definitely discouraged. But if we look at, let's say portal customer doesn't have that because any portal customer automatically goes into that group. Same with portal workgroup manager. But admin, if we look at the users tab, we'll see there are several Cherwell users. These are not customers, these are users managed through admin that are part of the admin security group. So obviously Cherwell admin, the CSD admin account, but then Andrew, Claire, Emma, Henry, and Terry, they are all part of the admin security group. So every single one of those users has just as much ability to do anything within the system as any of the other users. And I think in the case of this admin group, there are no restrictions on, can only edit my records or anything like that. But in some of the other cases, in some of the other security groups that might have that checkbox checked. Obviously, in those cases, one user might not be able to edit another user's record or something like that. So through all of this, there's a lot of power, and this is just a short, this is the 30,000 foot view of what's going on here. Business objects and rights are probably where you're going to spend most of your time, because again, there are so many options here. 99% of them, I would venture, are probably right for whatever you're trying to do. But you know, if you run into an issue where a particular user should be able to do something, but they can't, you might have to dive into one or the other of these tabs. Now, one note here, there is this add button. Cherwell does not recommend you click this add button because there are so many settings here, and I agree with them. Don't click the add button because you're going to you're never going to get the security right. There's just too many options, and security is too important in this day and age to mess with, to play loose with. So my recommendation is that you use this copy current security group button. Find a security group that is close to what you're trying to do. Click this button once it's selected in this dropdown. So let's say IT Service Desk Manager. We'll click this button and give it a new name, and then from there make your tweaks, additions, subtractions, make it do what you need to. And then definitely test the security, test your changes. Make sure that the things that particular security group should have access to, that users in that group do have access to those things. And perhaps more important, make sure that things that those users shouldn't have access to, they in fact don't have access to. That's really important. This is something that's, you know, security is huge and is super important, and is one of those things that it's really easy to get lax when it comes to security and kind of just assume it works, and that's when bad things happen. That's really not a good way to go about doing security, and I can't stress enough how important it is to test your security thoroughly and regularly and do all that sort of stuff. Follow industry best practices. These security groups can do whatever you want them to, but you have to make sure that you've set them up the right way. So with that, let's jump back to the slides. And that's basically it for this video. If you have questions about security groups, go ahead and leave a comment below. If you have questions about other aspects of Cherwell that you want me to do future videos on, leave a comment below, shoot me an email, let me know what you want to see you know, later this month or in future months. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Click that notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. And share with your colleagues, you know, other people in the Cherwell community. I do these videos to share the knowledge because, you know, this is really important stuff, and, you know, not everybody wants to read the help. The online help is great. It has a bunch of great information, and the documentation team over at Cherwell does a fantastic job in keeping the documentation up to date. But, you know, sometimes videos are easier to consume. So these videos are out there, resource for you. Let me know what I can do to improve them and you know, provide the information that you're looking for. And if there's anything I can do for you, go ahead and shoot me an email, and you know, I'll let you know what my company, Synapse Software, can do for your particular Cherwell environment and your particular digital transformation. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.